He said, this is really unusual. I'm getting really worried about you. You're taking out a lot of money. It's very out of character. Like, what's going on here? Yeah. And she explained that she's been talking to a gentleman, the old Nigerian prince scam, if you will. And the next thing she knew, she had been into it for, 6 figures, and she felt really, really stupid.
I'm Nate.
I'm Matt.
And you're listening to Money Questions.
Today, we're going to discuss scams, schemes, various financial untruths, and how you can protect yourself from more and more sophisticated financial shenanigans.
It's over the last several years, it's been top of mind for like a lot of our clients, because we get emails of just like, is this legitimate? And as we're sort of like walking through like a household's financials or talking to them about various interactions like within their life, there's a lot of various ways that criminals are trying to take advantage of the general public, which are surprising to us. And we want to just share some facts, some helpful tips, and a couple stories that we've experienced.
Yeah, the scammer on the phone today might sound exactly like a grandchild, an aunt, or an uncle, or a CEO, or the prime minister for that matter. So because of the proliferation of artificial intelligence, losses to fraud are up significantly year over year. And, it's largely due to voice cloning and deepfakes and things like that. So what we hope you'll get out of this is that we'll teach you how to sort of identify scams, as difficult as that might be, and how you can protect yourself from being vulnerable to these types of things.
No, that sounds great.
Yeah. In 2024, Canadians lost over $638 million to fraud, according to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. However, some estimates suggest that total losses could be much, much higher, like in the range of 6 to 12 billion, because one of the things about financial scams, at least, is they often go unreported because people are embarrassed.
Absolutely.
That they've been taken for so much, right?
Yeah, a lot of financial scams and people taking advantage of people for their hard-earned savings. When they're successful, they're typically for large amounts of money. That's
it. I mean, we've both had instances within our own, client bases where people have been scammed. We both have instances where someone has called us ahead of a scam. That is to say, ahead of handing money over. And then we've both have instances where we've been told after the fact. In the most dramatic, I guess, case that I came across, I went to visit a lady. She was an elderly lady. She lived at home on her own. She didn't have any family in the province. She had a couple nephews out of province that she spoke to on a regular basis. But she had been taken for over $300,000. And she had wired money to these people from her registered retirement income fund, from her TFSA. And,
what was their hook? Like, what did...
I don't think I got the full story. I was quite shocked in first talking to her. And, this was a situation that was really difficult because her advisor had passed away. She was looking for a new advisor. My name got handed to her. It was sort of beyond what I could help with, because she had handed over well over $300,000 from registered accounts. She had had her lines of credits cleaned out at, 2 large financial institutions. And this all began from her clicking something on her laptop that was indicating that her computer had been compromised. Well, that was the scam, because
Absolutely.
She clicked on it, then she received a phone call, then she allowed someone access to her computer, and then she went to all her accounts. She was told to move money around. Her advisor at the time, asked her if everything was okay when she started asking for large sums from her registered accounts. And it wasn't until the third or fourth withdrawal that he said, this is really unusual. I'm getting really worried about you. You're taking out a lot of money. It's very out of character. Like, what's going on here? Yeah. And she explained that she's been talking to a gentleman and that she was in line for a whole bunch of money.
Yes.
Right? The old Nigerian prince scam, if you will. You just need to send us 10,000 to unlock 3 million.
Yeah.
So she began sending money. And the next thing she knew, she had been into it for, 6 figures, and she felt really, really stupid.
Yep.
And that was her message to me: is I feel so stupid. I feel so dumb. Unfortunately, the institutions that were around her didn't do much to protect her, right? Like,
like there's procedures in place to report suspicious transactions all through the Canadian banking system. But yeah, there needs to be more sort of educational components to it. There needs to be sort of like we have a sort of a standard of care to when someone asks for a large sum of money is to like drill down and just understand and what it's for and make sure it aligns with their financial goals.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like when we process a withdrawal for someone, we're supposed to ask them what it's for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if someone's calling you and asking you for $1,000 from their tax-free savings account, it can feel somewhat intrusive to say, "What's this for?"
Yeah. It's not that we're being nosy. It's just we're required by law to ask those probing questions.
Yeah.
And I guess since we're sharing examples, like another big one that I was a part of or directly involved in this year is sort of around sort of the same thing. Like it's elderly gentleman, lives by himself, sort of forms some would say a romantic relationship with a younger woman out of the country. In this case, this woman was doing graduate studies somewhere in the United States in law school. And
this was online?
This was all online.
Right.
All online. There were some nice pictures shared. There was lots of communications and whatnot. And these are all the introductory steps to a financial fraud called, it's sort of morbid, I guess, but it's called like pig butchering. It's when you fatten up said farm animal prior to slaughter. So it's gaining the individual's trust. It's understanding how they work financially, what resources they have available to them, and then crafting a plan in order to hit them hard and extract as much money as possible.
Right, the biggest payoff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're not hitting singles, you're going for the grand slam.
Yeah.
In this particular case, there was some money shared back and forth to help with a vet bill for a cat. As months go on, there was an opportunity there that he could help this woman with, where she had an estranged uncle, and she was the sole beneficiary to a large property in the United States. However, in order to do that, the will indicated that a land tax bill needed to be paid, as well as if this woman was married, she would be entitled to the proceeds of her deceased uncle's estate. And when I became involved in it, there was actually sharing back and forth of fake legal documents on legitimate law practices letterhead from the United States on like it was like an estate settlement transaction and to like the untrained eye for someone who didn't know how like law or estate settlement worked, it was fairly easy to like believe this to be real. In this particular case, there was a sum of money being asked for. I believe it was 80,000 USD, which was almost sent. But we caught this one in time. And
didn't you run the will by one of the attorneys that we do business with? Yeah,
I had three lawyers look at it.
yeah, fair enough.
But the big thing there, and ourselves as professional advisors, we also reported it to the regulatory body that keeps track of this. I think you have it listed here in our notes.
Yeah,
Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, where they have like a data intake form to share what's happened, and they keep track of it and follow up and report to the RCMP.
Wild,
if necessary.
Well, I mean, yeah, scams are as old as time, right? So they tend to target our primal emotions, right? Fear, greed, lust, envy, 7 deadly sins, if you will, right? And they tend to use, I guess, techniques that involve urgency or appeal to whether it's sexuality or greed, right? To get people to do things that they wouldn't otherwise do.
Why don't you share where the original concept came from with Mr. Ponzi?
Well, most of us have heard the term Ponzi scheme, and that's actually named after an article on the internet listed him as an Italian charlatan and con artist. He became notorious in the 1920s for a fraudulent investment scheme that now bears the name the Ponzi scheme, right? So he was an immigrant to America in 1882, the United States, sorry. He arrived with little money, struggling to find stable employment. In 1919, he devised a plan to profit from something called international reply coupons. And these were, I guess, notes that allowed people to pay for return postage for international mail. And he claimed that he could arbitrage the differences in currencies by buying these IRCs, they're called, and profiting off of them. And so he claimed that he could earn people, between 50% and 400% profit in 45 days to 90 days if they bought these things. And
was that guaranteed?
It was, of course, it was guaranteed. It's always guaranteed, right? And so obviously this appealed to people's greed and appealed to people's desire to get rich quick. But it was found that there was no buying or redeeming of these IRCs, international reply coupons. He was simply using new money to pay previous investors out and to kind of generate momentum in this scam. And so he was arrested and charged with mail fraud and ultimately served over 10 years in federal and state prisons before being deported back to Italy in 1934. And then he died penniless in Rio de Janeiro in 1949. So Mr. Ponzi had quite the life from the sounds of it, but that's where we get the term Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, and I think the most recent, not the most recent, but like another recent example, which you'll find tons of documentaries on, is Bernie Madoff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's tons of stuff on Netflix on that if you want to sort of go down the rabbit hole on individuals that are well respected and, in this case, financial professionals entrusted with clients' money.
Yeah.
Promising and guaranteeing like a certain rate of return.
That's it. And then I guess one of the key characteristics of a Ponzi scheme is using new money from new suckers, if you will, to pay off the original suckers. And eventually it gets to a size that it can no longer be maintained and it comes crashing down.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I think it was something like 90% of the proceeds from Bernie Madoff's scams were recuperated. But it took, a decade in order to get all that money back. And anyways, I think this also came about because we've both received calls all year from clients, loved ones, friends, relatives, claiming that they saw, a crypto opportunity on Facebook from Mark Carney, right?
Well, it started off as Pierre Trudeau last year.
Yes.
And then it was various other politicians, and now the targeted ads on Facebook are coming through as Mark Carney presenting a guaranteed investment opportunity and a new Canadian government-backed cryptocurrency with the promising of a guaranteed rate of return if you send your money now.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's always a sense of urgency tied to these things. But I think it's important that we talk about some of the ways that people can avoid, being drawn into these scams, right?
Absolutely. So you put together sort of a little list of a couple points.
Yes.
Just to sort of help the general public. So where do we start?
I think first and foremost, maybe we should also, as an aside, indicate like these scams aren't just in finance. They just seem to be prevalent there. Yeah. But there's just as many scams for health and wellness, for longevity. And it's all these places where people are really insecure, I think, right? You're insecure about your financial status. You're insecure about your body size. You're insecure about your longevity. These are really vulnerable feelings, and people kind of attack those feelings. So I think the first red flag that should go up is if it sounds too good to be true.
Usually is.
Usually is,
Yeah.
right? If a rate of return sounds too good to be true, if an amount of weight lost in a period of time sounds too good to be true, probably is.
If there's 100% guarantees, and it's not on the interest rates associated with the bank accounts or a guaranteed investment certificate, it's worth asking some additional questions and diving into the legal documents that are underneath that promise.
Yeah. But when it comes to anything you see online, I think speaking to a licensed financial professional is probably your first stop when it comes to financial opportunities that you come across online.
Yes.
Right. Whether it's crypto, whether I last week, just for shits and giggles, I replied to a few Instagram messages that were offering 18% rate of return guarantees on REIT investments.
So a REIT, for anyone who doesn't know, is a real estate investment trust, or like a consolidation of either commercial or residential properties paying some sort of interest rate.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about these was that guarantee appeared on the first page. But 20 pages in, after filling out some forms and watching some short videos, like that never came up again. But, when it came time to the end of the form to say, why are you signing up for this? I was like, for the guaranteed 18%, right? Like that's what sticks in your mind. And that's what they might throw out there as float a balloon.
Yeah.
But I think they try to get away from those guarantees pretty quickly. That's the hook.
Okay.
Is some kind of guarantee, right? In regards to like, if you get an inbound call or piece of mail from someone that is purporting to be kind of an official of some kind, whether that's CRA, the credit card company, Amazon delivery services, and indicating that something is wrong and we need you to access something in order to stop the thing that's wrong.
Yeah.
I think as a general rule, the best thing that you can do to protect yourself is to hang up.
So you mean I shouldn't have paid my outstanding tax bill from CRA on the phone with my credit card? Yes. So I didn't go to jail?
That's correct. We should avoid these things at all costs. Best practice is to hang up and call back, right? Get the official number, call them back saying, hey, did you guys do this?
Yeah.
Like it's a really simple thing.
Are you guys going to put me in jail for my $50 late fee payment on my tax installment?
They're going to go back to fear. They're going to go to greed. They're going to go to like shame to try and get someone to do something they might not normally do, right? Never move money to protect it is another good rule of thumb, right?
Okay. So, what do you mean by that?
Well, if one of the common threads with these folks that ended up relinquishing their banking information or credit card information or investment information was, in order to protect this, you need to move it here.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so, you've got, we deal with a lot of clients that keep absurd amounts of money in their bank account, right? When I say absurd, I'm talking like $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 just sitting in their bank account. To
be fair and to defend them, some people have a different size security blanket, which helps them sleep at night.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's a lot better than having the cash under their mattress, and buried in the backyard.
It could be.
Okay. Continue.
It may now be easier to get in someone's online bank account than under their mattress. I don't know.
That's a story for another time.
Exactly.
Continue.
Anyways, so moving money to protect it is generally not something a credit card company or an investment firm or the CRA will ask you to do. Right? And no bank will ever tell you to move your money to a safe or a new account via cryptocurrency. They just won't, It can sound very convincing when they're on the phone advising you to do this kind of stuff. But I think just anytime you're asked to action anything involving your money, that should be a signal to talk to someone that you trust, whether that's a loved one or a friend or your financial advisor, right? Like we hold ourselves out to our clients as people that can help in case there's anything that's affecting their financial well-being.
So I shouldn't let someone give them remote access to my computer in order to fix the virus on my Windows machine.
Exactly. You should hang up the phone and call Geek Squad or one of these tech services to help you out. But that's a common.
That's fair. That's another common one. That's why it sort of popped into my mind.
Absolutely. As far as like a shield goes or actionable security steps, as annoying as it is, there's something to be said for multi-factor authentication. You need a password to get in to get your password so that you can open your password, right?
Correct.
Yeah. But, multi-factor authentication is when you download an app on your phone so that in order to go into your banking app, you sign in, you enter your password, And then the bank sends you a text with a numerical code that you then have to enter to actually see your bank account, right?
And like the reason why they do that is they're putting additional identity checks in place to make sure the person is actually the person that's allowed to make that transaction.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get it. It's annoying, but it's helpful.
That's it.
What else you got here?
Freeze your credit, right? So we know sometimes we've done something or clicked on something that we shouldn't have. Well, we've all done it, right? We've all clicked on something, and after the fact, we're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have clicked on that, or maybe I shouldn't have done that, right? And so I shouldn't say every, but any financial institution that I deal with for credit or banking has the ability for me to lock down my account inside the app.
Yeah, you just mean like lock down your checkings account or lock down your Visa card.
Correct, because you suspect there might be some fraudulent activity or something wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can't do it that easily, then it's worth picking up the phone and calling an institution saying, hey, I just gave my banking information to a sketchy website. Yeah. I thought I was buying something, but I didn't get an invoice and I'm worried. Is there anything we can do?
Yeah. And then this is sort of all these steps also work for like, oops, I lost my wallet. I left it on the restaurant table and I'm driving. I'm 2 hours in the other direction now.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think I have 3 or 4 subscriptions to TransUnion's credit monitoring service because of data breaches that I've been victims of via Nova Scotia Power,
Nova Scotia Health.
I think Staples had an issue.
Yes.
Our own regulator,
the
Canadian Investment Regulators Organization breached all their advisors' data.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ciro, but come on.
Yeah. So I don't know. I operate on the assumption every criminal browsing the dark web knows my social insurance number.
Yeah.
So I pay attention to my credit report.
Absolutely. And this is where technology can both harm and help us, right? Like it's one thing, we both have clients that don't utilize technology for, things like email and things like that. And that's fine. But the fact is like credit monitoring could be an important service that they could undertake if someone got their personal information just in order to monitor whether or not something funky is going on with their credit.
So let's recap what we just talked about.
Okay. So, as far as, the reporting process goes, a powerful sequence to undertake would be, if money is lost or compromised, your order of operations is go to where the money is first. So whether that's a bank or an investment account, then go to the police, right? This isn't the time to get on your Facebook neighborhood group and say, hey, I just got scammed. What do you guys think I should do? Right?
But to be fair, it's not a 911 call.
It's not a 911 call.
Okay.
No, your police station will have a regular phone number that you can call them at. And then you can walk in and maybe talk to an officer or they'll call you back.
And you have one more here. What's that?
Yeah, national reporting agencies. So you brought them up earlier. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, right, is where you could go to report suspicious activities or the fact that you've been scammed. And I would add that you should talk to family and friends about it. I know it's embarrassing, but that's where, a loved one, a trusted contact of yours can step in and help. And if you're working with a financial professional, I would advise you to talk to them about it because maybe they can give you some thoughts or some tips in regards to how you could avoid these sort of things in the future.
Yeah. Right? Like I have a collection of emails of clients sending me is this a legitimate investment opportunity?
Yes.
And I respond back with no. And then I break down why in the childish manner that is my personality. But it's all a learning experience. And by educating your clients or the general public will hopefully protect them.
Yeah. Yeah. And the scary thing is about, artificial intelligence and scams is, the state that it's at today, which is kind of scary and sophisticated, is the worst it'll ever be. It's only going to get better from here. And so, really thinking about this stuff and safeguarding ourselves is very important. And I really do think this is one of the areas where a trusted advisor can be of service.
No, that all makes sense. That concludes our season 2 opener. We tried to make it brief and concise, but by all means, share in the comments if you'd like us to dive in future episodes in any more detail. If there's anything else that you want us to go down the rabbit hole on, and like and subscribe.
In conclusion, stay safe, stay vigilant, don't panic. I think these are things to live by when it comes to your money. And take an interest in this. If you feel like something's off, trust your gut. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And talk to someone you trust.
The comments contained herein are a general discussion of certain issues intended as general information only and should not be relied upon as tax or legal advice. Please obtain independent professional advice in the context of your particular circumstances. This presentation was prepared by Matthew McGowan and Nathan England, CFP, for the benefit of Matthew McGowan and Nathan England, CFP, mutual fund representative with Evangeline Wealth Management, a registered trade name with Investia Financial Services, Inc., and does not necessarily reflect the opinion of Investia Financial Services, Inc. The information contained in this presentation comes from sources we believe reliable, but we cannot guarantee its accuracy or reliability. The opinions expressed are based on an analysis and interpretation dating from the date of publication and are subject to change without notice. Furthermore, they do not constitute an offer or solicitation to buy or sell any securities. Mutual funds are offered through Investia Financial Services, Incorporated. Commissions, trailing commissions, management fees, and expenses all may be associated with mutual fund investments. Please read the fund fact sheet or prospectus before investing. Mutual funds are not guaranteed, their values change frequently, and past performance may not be repeated.